So let's start. We have a ball here. I downloaded this ball from creativecrash.com. It's a free rig. So just to animate anything, we require a rig. A rig gives you control over your model. So let's say we've got these 3 controllers that we need to use to animate this ball. So this top circle here, we can use this to stretch and squash from the top, and then this one we can use this controller we can use to stretch and squash from the bottom, and then this is the main controller. This is used to move the ball and to rotate the ball. So this is how typically a very simple rig would look like. Rigging is very technical and a very complex process, so this probably is the most simplest example of rig that you will see. So let's start animating this ball. So what we need to do is we need to first we'll make the ball jump, and then we will make it jump across the screen. So just to start with, we'll use this main controller. We'll always use this main controller to move the ball, and then we will use these to give a character to the ball. So let's start. So what we'll do is we'll just use this main controller. We'll bring this up here, let's say somewhere here. Looks good. Alright, so we'll make it to, we'll take it to 5. Alright, what we'll do is we'll take it to 5. Okay, so now that we have this ball at 5 at frame 1, we'll just hit S, and we need to make sure that we have this auto key on so that it puts the key by itself. So let's say we'll take 14 frames for the ball to come back to 0, and then the ball comes back to 0. So the software will create the in-betweens by itself. So now that the ball has come down, so what happens is the moment it comes down, we need to squash the ball. It needs to squash. So let's say what we should do is we should just, on every frame, we should just select and hit S, so that we have keyframes on all these controllers. We can delete them later if we have to, but it's up to you. I mean, many animators don't like doing this way. There are animators who like doing this way, so it's completely up to you. So I have now keyframes on all my controllers. So what I'll do is I'll go to one frame, and then I will squash the ball. So how much you squash will define the character of the ball. So it will look more cartoony. If you squash it this way, it will look more cartoony. Let's see how it looks. So the ball goes down, squashes, and then we will take another, let's say we'll take another few frames for the ball to go up. So what we'll do is we'll again use this controller to take this ball and go up. It obviously will not go the same distance because the gravity is going to play its role, and the ball is eventually going to bounce less and less every time it goes up. So right now it is on frame number 24. It is going to go up again, and then what we'll do is it is going to come back to its original shape. So we'll select this top controller for stretch and squash, and we'll bring it back to 0. So now this is how it will look like. So it goes down, squashes, come back to its original position, and then again we'll go back few frames further. Let's say it will take the same amount of time to come back. So let's say by 34 it is going to come back. Sorry. So we'll select this and we'll bring the ball down again. So now it is going to come back to its 0 position, and then we'll go 2 frames further, 1 frame further, and then we are going to squash it again. Alright, so I forgot to put a key here. So alright, so now the ball is actually bouncing. Alright, and then we'll go, let's say 5 frames, and then we'll bring this ball again up. It'll go up much less this time, and this will also come back to its original shape, and then what we'll do is in the same frame it is going to come back down again. So we'll use this main controller to bring it down back to 0 again so that it hits the ground. So now that it is on the ground, now it is going to stay on the ground. So what we'll do is we'll give it very little squash. So now that it has hit the ground, so we'll put a keyframe here, and then in the very next frame we'll give it a very little squash. So that means it is actually settling down. And then let's say by frame 50 we'll come back to its original shape. So let's check out the animation. This is a very basic animation right now, so let's just check out the animation. Alright, looks pretty decent for now. So what we're gonna do is we are now gonna check out this animation in what we call a graph editor. So before we go to a graph editor, let me tell you we should also give some stretch to this ball. So what we're gonna do is before it hits the ground, we're just gonna put this keyframe and we're gonna just stretch the ball a little. So what it'll do is it will give that stretchy, cartoony feeling, and then again it goes up, and then when it comes down, so just 2 frames and we'll give it a little stretch, so that again it goes up, and then we'll just give it a little less stretch, and then again it'll hit and then settle down. So it'll give a feel of weight to the ball. Yeah, it already looks pretty decent. So what we're gonna do is now we're gonna go into the graph editor and see how our graph looks. So let's just pause this, we'll go back to first frame, and then we'll just select this main controller, and then we'll go into Windows, Animation Editor, and then we go into something called a graph editor. So in graph editors you can see your animation in curves. So this is how our animation looks like. The ball comes down, then it goes up again, then it comes down, and then it goes up again, and then comes down. The graph looks pretty decent. So what we're gonna do is see right now we are gonna just make sure that the graph is clean. We've got nice easy ease in and ease out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just select this and we're just gonna flatten this curve. So what it's gonna do is it'll make sure that it does not go beyond 0, or it does not go below the ground. So we'll just flatten this out. Now we need something called ease in and ease out. The ball does not go, it goes in, it comes down slow, it comes down fast and then goes up slow, and then comes down fast and then goes up slow. So let's flatten these curves so it gives a nice, it'll just take a slow deep and then come down fast and then go up slow and then come down fast. So we'll do that to this curve as well, and then we do not have any animation on any other parameters. So in order to frame, let's say you want to select this, if you hit, and if it is framed improperly, if you want to frame it, all you have to do is to select the parameter and hit F. So what it does, it'll frame the whole animation or the whole graph for you. For now we can just close this and see if it looks any better. Yes, it already looks much better. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing to the other to this controller that we use to stretch and squash. So again we're gonna go into animation editor, and then we're gonna go into the graph editor, and we're gonna see how this looks like. So let's hit F. It already looks pretty decent. So this is all flattened out. Alright, so let's just add some ease in and nice ease out, and we want to make sure that these curves are nice and they're smooth, so that how the ball reacts depends on these curves, and we need to make sure that these are absolutely smooth, and we can control the animation through these graphs, and we can actually control how the ball would react to these graphs. If you want, we can just keys, and let's see how ball now reacts after we've deleted those keys, because we do not need them. We just need a nice, this goes up and then comes down and then goes up and then comes down fast. So this is the stretch. This is the, it stretches and then squashes and then stretches and then squashes. So let's see how the ball looks now. Let's just play this. Right, yeah, it looks much better. It looks as if the ball has a lot of weight. It looks like as if there is either liquid or something in the ball. So this is just how we can use this to give character to the ball. Now what we need to do is we need to move this ball. I mean, this is a very basic tutorial. So in this one I'm going to now talk about how to use this animation, and now how we can use this animation and move it across the screen. So let's use this main controller, and what we'll do is, again, we need to translate this into Z or X. It's up to us. So let's say we want to translate this into X. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna break this key. We go into we right click and then we say break connection, and then we'll break the other keys as well, break connection. So now that we know that the key is only on X, so what we can do is we can just select translate X, we can hit S. So now we know that now it is keyed and there are no in-betweens. So what we can do is we can just push it back here, and then by frame 46 it will be here. So now if we play the animation, let's see what happens. Alright, the ball has started to travel. Looks like the ball travels from point A to point B, and somebody has thrown it or pushed it. So let's go back, let's select this, and let's go back to the graph editor. In the graph editor, now we're going to be looking at translate X. Earlier we were looking at translate Y, now we're going to look at translate X, because we just moved the ball. And if we hit F, then we can see right now the curve looks very linear, and we need to give nice ease in and ease out. So what we're going to do is we'll select this and we'll hit this flattened curve. What we need to do is we need the ball to go nicely, so we can just move this up a little so that it goes fast and then settles down. So let's see how it reacts now. We'll go back to frame 1 and we will hide the nerves for some time. Let's see how it plays. We'll just hit the play button. Alright, it already looks pretty decent. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I think it just squashes a little on the second bump. So what we can do is we'll just go ahead and select this, and we'll just reduce this squash, and then it needs to come back to its original position right here, so that it doesn't look like it is squashed for a longer time. Alright, so it is squashed, and then it needs to come back to its original position right after it leaves the ground, so that it gets back to its original shape. Alright, and then here we need to make sure that it is okay, and yeah, it looks pretty decent. Let's just hit the play button and see. Let's just hide the nerve curves again, and then let's see how it looks. Alright, it looks pretty decent. It looks like the ball is starting to travel. I also feel that it needs to have little less squash here. I think what we need to do is bring this back to 0, and then right before it hits the ground we'll just squash it, so it was wash and then stretch. Sorry. So what needs to happen is, while it is here, it needs to come back to its original shape, and then it needs to just stretch a little, and it needs its original shape while it is on top. So okay. Alright, now we'll just go ahead and try and push this further into the x-axis. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and we're gonna make sure that it is the last frame, and then we'll go push it further so that it doesn't look as if. Okay. So now let's see how the animation looks. Okay, looks pretty easy. Looks pretty good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate this ball so that it does not look so linear. Right now the rotation looks very linear. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna again go back into graph editor, and then we're gonna rotate the ball in every all x, y, and z, because that's how the ball will react. So we'll just randomly put some rotation here, and then we're gonna go back to frame number 46. Then we're going to just keep rotating this so that we have these parameters here. So let's see how it does now. So what we're going to do is we just turn this nerve cuffs off, and then we'll just play the animation. Alright, looks pretty good. 46. What we can do is at frame, go back to this, and what we can do is we can just push this ball further a frame number 50. So what it'll do is it'll just keep rolling the ball. Okay. Let's see how it reacts. So we'll just turn this off, we'll just hit the play button. What we need to do is we need to again turn this on. We'll just select this, and we need to make sure that translate X happens smoothly, because right now it looks like as if it is just gets too fast. So we'll just delete this, and then again we'll use this, and we'll give a nice curve to the whole animation. And let's see how the animation looks now that the ball is going to roll a little. Alright, it already looks much better, yeah. So that's how we animate a ball. What we're gonna do is now we're gonna just play blast and see how it looks. Play blast means that we're gonna preview our animation into a player, and it is going to give you a real-time look at your animation. So if you right click on your timeline, hit play blast. If you go into the attributes, right now we're going to just have a look, just because we're looking at the animation, we're just going to look at the 50%. We can, if you put 1 here, then you'll get real good quality. So let's just look at 1. So what we'll do is we'll hit play blast, and we'll see how it looks. Right, so right now it is play blasting. Alright, so this is how the animation looks like. Looks like somebody threw the ball, and then it squashes, and then it stretches and squashes. Alright, so this is how we can animate a ball. We can give different characters. You give more stretch and squash, it'll look more cartoony. If you give less stretch and squash, it'll look more sturdy. So you can do a lot of things by just playing around with the timing, playing around with the attributes, different attributes, and you can add character to the animation. I hope this chapter was useful and you guys enjoyed it. This was a